Hello and good afternoon, everyone. It's 1:02 p.m. on Wednesday, May Day 1st, 2024, and I will call the meeting of Parks, Enterprise Services, and Culture and the Arts meeting to order. I'd like to welcome Committee Vice Chair Okimoto, as well as Council Members Tupola and Say. Pursuant to Section 92-3.7 Hawaii's revised statute, this meeting will be conducted as a remote meeting by interactive conference technology with the following procedures in effect for the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda in two ways: in person, in the council chamber, and remotely. In person and remote oral testimony will be allowed and each agenda item is taken up. Before testifying, each person shall state their name. Each speaker may not have anyone else read their statement and is limited to a 1-minute presentation on all items. All persons who have registered to testify in person will be called upon first. When the timer goes off, please conclude your remarks promptly. Persons who have not registered will be given the opportunity to testify following the registered testifiers. Once in-person testimony is concluded, I will proceed to remote testimony. All persons who have registered to testify remotely by video conference or telephone will then be called upon. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. For persons who are testifying by telephone only, I will identify you by your last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, please listen for the prompt and unmute and press *6. When I call for anyone else standing by remotely, please utilize the Zoom raise hand button to indicate your desire to speak. For those joining us by telephone only, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. Some friendly reminders and tips. Video conference from a quiet location is possible. If you are watching the proceedings on Olelo, please mute your television when you are called to testify. When the time on the screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks. Okay. Let's move on to item number 1, Resolution 24-88, accepting a gift of $3,000 from the city from Friends of Honolulu Parks and Recreation for the Department of Parks and Recreation programs and or events. And here from the administration is Director Laura Thielen.
Good afternoon, council members, and happy May Day, Lay Day for everyone here. I hope some of you had a chance to go down to Kapiolani Park to see the Lay Day program. The Friends of Honolulu Parks and Recreation, who's making this generous donation, was down there today as well, providing support. We just want to thank them for all that they do for the parks, and we hope that you support the gift as well, because it goes towards a lot of good programs.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for the Director? Okay, I will now proceed with in testimony in the council chamber. Is there anyone here to testify?
There is no one, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll move on to a remote testimony. Is anyone here to testify remotely? Okay.
No one.
There being no remote speakers, we will then move into discussion. Members, we are in discussion. Okay. The chair recommends that Resolution 24-88 be reported out for adoption. Any discussion? Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, let's move on to item number 2, Resolution 24-89, accepting the gift of use of 2 refrigerated containers, Cassie's motor generators valued at $1,366 to the city from Matson Navigation Company for refrigeration of wreaths and lei for the Mayor's Memorial Day ceremony. And again, from the administration, Director Laura Thielen.
Hello again, council members. Laura Thielen for the Department of Parks and Recreation. We want to give a shout out to Matson, that has been the city's partner for many years for the Memorial Day. As you know, we sow tens of thousands of lei to go onto the graves as part of the Mayor's Memorial Day at Punch Bowl Cemetery. And we would not be able to do that without the help of Matson and these refrigerated containers. This also is kind of the best of Hawaii because we have so many volunteers that also lend a hand with SOLA. This is one of those events that makes Hawaii very special. So again, we hope that you support the Matson donation.
Why don't we take the moment to ask for volunteers if they're watching to help SOLAs, right? We always in need of people to come and help.
We will be announcing through public notice the SOLA sites. We have multiple sites around the island. We also will announce if people want to help with picking plumeria. We did work with our deputy director, Kehaulani Pu'u, because there are not as many plumeria trees in Oahu as there used to be. So it is culturally appropriate also to have tea leaf. So people who want to learn how to sew tea leaf lei can show up at one of our sites. We also accept donated leis, donated flowers, and donated tea leaves. So Ho'omaluhia is one of our big sites on the windward side. And again, we'll be putting information out on our website. You can look at Department of Parks and Recreation Honolulu. If you Google it, that's the easiest way to look at it. And we have a big banner up about the the Memorial Day activities.
Awesome. Thank you, Director. Any questions? Councilmember Say.
Yes, Director Thielen, I wanted to say thank you very much for what your employees are doing. First and foremost is Ms. Jocelyn San, who's in charge of all of your gardens. And secondly, Iris, who's in charge of providing all the tea leaf leis. So if the chair would like to join me in making tea leaf leis, he can always come to the church that I do attend, which our parish provides a lot of the tea leaf leis. But thank you to the two of them for a job well done, and you also.
I will share the information with them. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Members, questions for the Director? Okay, we'll proceed with in-person testimony in the council chamber. Is there anyone?
There is no one, Mr. Chair.
Okay, awesome. Let's move on to remote testimony. Is there anyone online that want to testify?
No one has signed in.
Okay, there are no remote speakers, so anyone else joining us remotely? It doesn't look like. I will move on to discussions, members. We are in discussion. Okay. The chair recommends that resolution 24-89 be reported out for adoption. Any discussion? Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, moving on to item number 3, accepting the gift of renovation to the Keiki Zoo Barn, bamboo enclosure, giraffe deck, and other various projects valued at over $100,000 to the city from the Honolulu Zoo Society for the Honolulu Zoo. And here from the administration, Dita Hollyfield, Director of the Department of Enterprise Services.
Good afternoon, Chair Toba, Vice Chair Okimoto, and esteemed council members. Dita Hollyfield for Enterprise Services. We're super excited this afternoon to accept from the Honolulu Zoo Society and their tireless work of raising money on behalf of the animals and our live collection in the city of Honolulu. We have the Keiki Zoo Barn renovation with AC installation. It also will go to the baboon enclosure fortification. We're going to be improving the giraffe deck for safety and for better viewing purposes, and other projects, sail shade for the sloth area, landscape improvements, and rock work and beautification. So I just want to also say a big mahalo to Mary Benson, the Executive Director of the Zoological Society. She just works tirelessly, and we're just so grateful for the entire board, who also includes our latest member is Senator Chris Lee has joined. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Director. Questions? Okay, let's move on to in-person testimony. Is anyone here to testify in the chamber?
There is no one, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we'll move on to remote testimony. Is anyone wanting to testify remotely?
No one has logged in.
Okay, and it looks like no one is online, so we will move on to discussions. Members? Okay, the chair recommends that resolution 24-114 be adopted, reported out for adoption. Any discussion? Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, moving on to item number 4, CC9, transmitting a draft committee report on the review and evaluation of the Commission on the Culture and the Arts pursuant to Ordinance 17-44. And here from the administration is Ms. O'Connell, Executive Director, and the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts.
Aloha, happy May Day. Ka'ili Trask, Executive Director of MOCA. Did you have questions? We're talking about the report that was submitted. I believe the last time, Councilwoman Tupola, you had a question about the grant that was done in the past and was no longer being done. And I think we did submit some information to you that was at a value of $120,000 per year.
Okay, Councilmember Tupola, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the amount. So the 120,000, was that coming out of general funds, or where were the funds from?
That was from let me get that information. It was from the Mayor's Production Grant Program, which I believe was a part of the current expenses.
So it was something that they budgeted for, and when was the last time that it was funded?
It was established in 2006, and the program was closed in 2018.
And since that time, has your office tried to advocate for the restoration of those funds? I know you might not have been here, but do you know of?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay, is that your purview as the director to try to advocate for those funds?
Yes, I would love to do that because what was great about these funds is it allowed us to support artists in other ways besides the visual arts that we see a lot of. So music, theater, dance, multimedia, literature, and I think those are the arts that sometimes are harder to promote. So yes, absolutely, I would love to see if we can pursue some grants or other opportunities to support those arts.
Okay, well, I think we're kind of sort of through the budget cycle, so we're not totally done, but we might have to look at it for next year. But it's good to know that it's something that you still think is going to be useful.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure Councilmember Toba agrees that if we can get it back in, we would. So thank you.
Okay, do we have anyone that wanting to testify in council?
There is no one in person.
Okay, we will move on to remote testimony. Is anyone wanting to testify remotely?
No one has signed in.
All right, it looks like no one's online also. So members, we are in discussion. Awesome. Okay, the chair recommends that the committee report be reported out for scheduling of a public hearing and adoption. Any objections or reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Okay, moving on to item number 5. This is an informational briefing. Members, the last item on the agenda today is an update from the Mayor's Office of the Culture and the Arts, and the status of their programs and upcoming events. And again, here from the administration is Ms. O'Connell, Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of the Culture and the Arts.
Aloha. Thank you, Chair Toba and council members. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the committee's agenda. Today, I'd like to just focus on one particular update, and that's a summary of the city's role with FestPac, as FestPac is approaching very quickly. FestPac for our community, for our community's knowledge, is the Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture. It's the world's largest celebration of the arts and culture of the Pacific Island communities. And Hawaii will be hosting this 10-day festival June 6th to 16th, which is a really huge honor and kuleana that the state is taking on. Now, in terms of the city, our support for FestPac will include, first of all, Kula Regional Park. We are helping to support the I don't want to say renovation, but purchasing kitchen appliances to replace the current kitchen facility equipment at Kula Regional Park. And this is to support the many delegates from the various Pacific Islands that will be staying there at Kula Park. Another big role that we're going to have is what they're calling Supper After Church, or Aha Aina, which is going to be hosted by Mayor and the city at Honolulu, at the Bishop Museum on Sunday, May 9th. It's going to be a really special, significant event. All 3,000 delegates will be there, so it's an honor that we get to be a part of the hosting of this event. And then in addition, my office is helping to coordinate a lot of the city sponsorships. So the city departments that are going to be involved is HPD. They will be supporting the Va'a ceremony as well as the supper after church at Bishop Museum. DPR, Department of Parks and Recreation, they'll be doing a lot of permitting to support the Kualoa Regional Park, and they'll do a lot of the hosting and facilitating there. Permitting at the Kuhio Beach Hula Mound and Kapi'olani Bandstand. Department of Transportation Services will be helping out with public transportation guide for FestPac, display of bus placards from May through June, and helping with road closures for delegation drop-offs at Capitol Modern. And finally, Honolulu Emergency Services Department is prepared to work with the Gravitas Pacifica, the organization working with them to ensure they're prepared for any kind of challenges or situations. That's all I've got for FestPac. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director. Meeting you privately, it's pretty exciting to see a 10-day event and, how we can get people excited about this, one-time event, right?
Yes.
It's never been done before, so pretty exciting. Okay, questions, members? Councilmember Tupola.
Thanks so much. Just to reiterate, I do believe that you guys are trying to have all of us come to the Friday one at the Convention Center and the Sunday one at Bishop Museum, correct?
Yes, and the Va'a ceremony.
Va'a ceremony is on the Thursday. No,
That one is, let me get my dates out.
I'm hoping my office is listening. I definitely had Bishop Museum and the Convention Center down, but tell me the Va'a ceremony date and time.
Yeah, Va'a ceremony is June 5th.
June 5th, and that's the one at Kualoa.
Yes.
And what time is that at?
That's in the morning from 5 a.m. to 10. Well, 5 a.m. it says to 1 p.m., but it's an early morning.
You want us to be there from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m.?
We're not sure about the exact times.
Augie, you better be there at 5 a.m.
You won't have traffic.
Oh, yes. Let's go at 5 a.m. because no more traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I guess my question is about when we had the meeting with you and some of the departments, like, what is the deviation of what we are going to cover for Sunday specifically? Because you guys didn't really know what we would be in charge of.
We are partnering with Gravitas Events International, which is a contractor under Gravitas, to work through the logistics of that day and that event.
I understood that part already. My question was, because we had said we were the hosts of the Bishop Museum one, what are we specifically in charge of? So I know we're partnering, but are we in charge of food? Are we paying for what is our kuleana?
Our kuleana is the food, and we're also trying to find ways that we can add additional pizzazz, additional personality to it, because we're hosting it part of the city, whether it's flowers or helping with entertainment or printing programs for the tables. So we're working through those logistics and details with Gravitas. In fact, we are trying to set up a meeting within the next few days. That's been on the radar to do that.
So within the 200,000 that we set aside for this, it's all going to fall within that?
Yes.
Okay. And pizzazz, you're talking about decorations.
Decorations, whatever we can do to represent the city with pride as we welcome these communities to Honolulu. Our city is hosting this really special experience for these other communities, so we really want to welcome them with warmth.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone here knows that at the Sister City one that we'll be doing the actual signing with, what city is it again?
With Rarotonga.
With Rarotonga on Friday.
Yes.
And hopefully, if I can finish the resolution for Fiji, we might do a sister city signing with Fiji since they'll be here. But at the convention center, I'm hoping all of my colleagues can be there because that'd be a really cool exchange. And we're hoping to know ahead of time, like if they also will have council members or people at our level that we can maybe even do a gift exchange with to get to know them. So thank you for your work on this. I'm glad that details are coming more to the light. I'm happy about that.
It's been very exciting to see it come to light.
Awesome. Thank you, Chair.
Mahalo.
You're welcome. Questions, members? Okay, we'll move on to in-person testimony in the council chamber.
There is no one, Mr. Chair.
We'll move on to remote testimony.
No one has logged on.
And I don't see anyone, don't log on. So, members, we are in discussion. Awesome. Okay. That is it Members, mahalo for everyone attending and participating in today's meeting. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.